As we look at the construction and where it's going, right, the future of this game, our archaic way of being in the past, the way that most people have built the Colosseum and most of their projects, even today, sometimes are still archaic. Ideas and concepts like yours are really moving that forward, right? Taking the archaic way of being and changing it, even some of the old tools that we use, and getting rid of some of the mentality. And I know you've taken some big steps with the accuracy of measurements. And let's start talking about some of the tools that you're using and how you're doing that.
Yeah, so I think what we were saying is that like most of the drawings now, they're kind of done with tape measure, and people are on site. It's laborious and boring. And we want to change that. It's all 3D now, and everything should be 3D scanned using 3D scanners or 360 photos to get that better data, not only in terms of accuracy, but importantly in terms of visually in a construction project. I find is very, very important. But yeah, using that more up-to-date 3D LiDAR and laser scanners that are out there that people aren't utilizing is very important.
With the advent of LiDAR and folks, somebody that aren't really caught up to it, really, if you look at what self-driving cars are driven on, camera technology, and the whole advent of LiDAR. Michael, let's go through it. So let's talk a little bit about point cloud.
Yeah, so it's basically light detection and ranging is what LiDAR stands for. And basically you have a camera unit, it looks like a camera unit, and it sends out millions of points every second. So when it hits off, say, a wall or something, the point comes back, and that's measured from the time it takes from go to point A to point B, and it creates a thing called a point cloud, and that has all your measurement data for absolutely everything that camera can see. So that's probably the easiest way to put it in layman's terms as to what it does.
And up until now, that process is very intensive, right? I mean, there's a when you talk about millions of, I mean, literally millions. So if you think about the air, space, you're talking about every
every millimeter of the place.
It's taking a point, right? It's driving, and you have to collect all of that data. And up until just recently, that process, you go get a point cloud created, or you get the information for it, but then you have to send it somewhere that's got cheap labor. Oftentimes we were sending those overseas somewhere because they had just the amount of time and work that it took was so cost prohibitive that it made the point cloud kind of tough to work with, or it's too expensive to work with, right?
Absolutely.
Now with technology, with machine learning, a lot of that gets automated, right? And that's really brought the ability for that point cloud to drop dramatically.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing the advent of this technology, the kind of machine learning and AI, obviously very topical at the minute, but we're seeing that with regards to point clouds now, we've a lot of investment going into machine learning to make computers essentially be able to see what's a wall, what's a door hinge, what's a lighting fixture, what it is. And at the minute, we're at a position where it can do about 30% or 40% of the drawings. But we're seeing that, in the next few years, this is definitely coming down the line where your machine learning is going to do basically all of your drawing. And then you're just going to have a quality check at the end by a person to make sure that everything has been done properly. And then, you have something that would have taken, let's say, a few weeks or like 3 or 4 weeks to create your as-built model or your drawing, to just being a few days.
And that's essentially, that becomes important in a couple of real spaces, right? Raw land is one thing, right? Just getting the topographic understanding of the land itself, and really watching understanding the layout, relatively simple to figure that out, right? I think that from a point cloud point of view, that's probably not as hard. I mean, maybe not, because you're outside, you have to deal with the sunlight and some of the complexities of working outside. But overall, your one surface, maybe you've got some trees or vegetation or water symbols there, stuff there. But overall, exterior seems to be kind of straightforward. But now, as we work in existing buildings, right? Buildings where they've been generated, they've been built before. Now, this has been the most arduous for everybody, right? This is, by the way, in the construction world, the equivalent of brain damage, right? As soon as we say we're going to do a remodel somewhere, we're like, okay, you know, your brain, you get that, you know, that little feeling in the back of your brain, like, oh, okay, we're going to miss something here. And then we, you know, in the past, we would send architects out, and depending on how, you know, and the truth is that usually got sent down to the lowest level person in the office, right? The person who was the low cost provider, they would fly him somewhere and not always get back the best information. And just because a part of it is, even if they were great measures and they're not bad people, just the amount of time it takes to put a drawing together and translate what's on a tape measure to a piece of paper, from a piece of paper to someone's head, to type it into an AutoCAD drawing and transition all that. That process has lots of room for error.
Yeah. And even in that, you know, when you're taking a measurement of a wall, you're only getting that one line, that one point. You're only getting 1 point. Whereas when you're doing it with a point cloud, you're getting every single piece of that wall. You can actually get the undulations of the plaster of the wall, even in certain circumstances, of all that data. So you're missing, you know, even with just the tape or a laser, you're missing all the other data. So you're coming back to your site, you're going into your AutoCAD, and then all of a sudden you've missed all this other data you need. You have to go back on site, you're doing it all over again, and it's just costs and time, and it's a real waste.
Yeah, and look, and that's what's the beautiful concept here is, we have been, you know, look, we've grown this, the construction industry has built a beautiful world. I mean, for Christ's sakes, if you look around, we have some beautiful cities and beautiful stuff. And, you know, and today, as we get smarter and smarter about what we're doing, we want to get a little bit more environmentally sound and figure out how to do things a little bit smarter, right? Kind of get rid of learn from our mistakes. And this really gives us that opportunity, right? When you start talking about doing measurements of a space within an eighth of an inch on every surface, right? You're able to look at every single surface. And I mean, this becomes the real, you know, of an existing space, right? You're able to go in there and see. And, you know, for us, you know, we've used this a lot for, you know, we just got done doing a 6,000 store program for a restaurant brand that sells hamburgers, and we remodeled them all around the country. And what we realized was, we would go out to do these surveys, and there was 11 different groups of people that had to go get information about the site for this remodel to take place. Right. So in other words, we had to send an operations team out there, and they had to look at the space, and they had to decide, all right, what we want to do. And then we had to send an architectural team out there, and they had to measure the space, and they had to see what they want to do. And they had a facilities team that had to go out there, and they had to look around, and they had to measure and decide what they want to do. And then we have, you know, the bidding team had to go out there, and they had to go figure out how they're going to bid it. And then you got the pre-construction team that want to go out there, figure out how they're going to schedule it. And then we had you know, the actual,
goes on and
on and on and on and
on and on.
Yeah.
And
how time consuming was that?
Yeah, it's crazy. And not even that, like, if you're going to say environmentally, you know, each one of those are coming in their big truck. They're coming with every single one of them. So every single one of those trips, when you're doing something like a 3D scan, not only are you saying that actually all of the data can be put online on a portal, and all of those people can access all of that data as if they were there in person anyway. So a lot of those trips, unnecessary trips, can be can be stopped. That's environmentally, that's a positive. Also, clearing up the site for the actual people who are doing the physical work, the important work of actually building, aren't getting interrupted the whole time. But also being, like I said, just to have all of that data in one place as if you were there in person, and to be able to make all of those decisions. You know, if you're thinking all those people have to come in, they have to schedule in each days. Let's stop that. You get on, you have all that information in front of you in a portal like we have with GeoMaus. All of the people come in, collaborate, and are assigned together, and they can make all of these decisions in one meeting, you know, rather than, you know, these trips. You know, I can go there Tuesday, I can go there Thursday, I'm not available till next Wednesday. No, hop on a call for 30 minutes. That's it. It's scheduled in, and we'll all have a look at the data and the building itself, and figure out what needs to be done.
It's even more, even if they all can't get on that meeting, they can at least hop onto the model and make
Yeah.
whatever notes or context they can do during their time.
Mhm.
Especially when you're doing international groups, right? You got a group, they're 5 or 6 hours, or they're on the other side of the country from you, and
Mhm.
they can log on, jump in the model, make the adjustments, put the notes in there, collaborate on a time frame that works
Mm.
for them. Imagine doing that for 6,500 stores, right? Trying to
Yeah.
schedule and coordinate a franchisee, an owner. I mean, the whole team to get there, and all of them to get to land at the same time 11 times. That's
Mm.
that's you might as well play the lottery if you can get that to happen, right? And that's what's really the joyful part about this, is that that's a great example how GeoMouse and your technology really has it so that you can scan this building, scan this
Yeah.
property, and now the
Mm.
property goes to them. It goes
Yeah.
to the team. The team doesn't
Mhm.
have to go to it. The team, and that includes the bidders, that includes the city, that includes all of the players above
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
jump into the model and see it pretty clearly.
Yeah, I think a great example of that is we did projects across the US for well-known restaurants in the US as well, and the owners were actually based here in Ireland. We had a design team in the UK. They had an architectural team in each of the states to pass that. They had all the other people. So all of these people were actually in and working together just through the software or the online portal with GeoMaus, and it saved a huge amount of time and effort and communication between all the parties involved. Not only the people who paid for the drawing services from us, but other people that they could add in at a later date that were coming in to do bids on that property. They could do it all remotely. It's just the time savings is just massive from it, and it just makes sense.
Well, and as we move forward, look, the entirety of our industry is advancing so fast that those owners that are out there right now not understanding the speed by which we're moving, right? If they're not currently playing with technology like GeoMouse, if
Mhm.
they're not right now, today, here, get rid of your tape measures, right?
Get
If
rid
you're
of them.
not currently working with GeoMouse or a scanning company that's doing 3D, but not even 3D, if they're not
Mm,
working in 3D, or how about 4D, right? Talk
mm,
about 4D and 5D. Talk about
4D.
those
Yeah.
those yeah.
Yeah, well, we're seeing now like 3D is like, we're seeing that most people are still on 2D with CAD drawings. Everyone knows a floor plan and CAD drawings. 3D is like the new thing, but really we're actually already on 4D and 5D BIM with time and cost. With 4D and 5D, you can simulate the actual full build of a project and see if there's going to be any issues within that build, and also simulate the costs of that build based on the time and construction involved in it. So you can input all these variables, all the labor rates, everything like that, and have a full time schedule and cost schedule alongside your model and what you're building out. And that's really that's where we should be at now, but we're still lagging behind. There's people that are really pushing the boundary at the top, but you kind of have to really pull hard to get everyone else to come up with you, and to see that, and that's kind of where we're at.
But by the way, you know who that is? It's guys my age, right? I mean, first
I
of all, you
wasn't going to say
yeah, no,
it.
listen, it's guys my age. I mean, think about this. I started the world when I started as a kid. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't. I had a beeper, beep 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 beep. I mean, that this little thing that sat on my belt that
Mhm.
you could send a number to somebody, right? And every once in a while, if you're fancy, you could figure out how to write like a code. Like 911 meant important, right? Or 411 said I needed some information, and you had to call back one number. Like, okay, I started there, and then we went from that to cell phones, right?
Mm.
From cell phones, we had computers, right?
Yeah.
Cell phones weren't even computers at the time. In fact, the first cell phone we had, right, was a bag phone. I don't know if you guys even know what a bag phone is. It was this big giant phone that had a battery. Like, imagine taking your car battery and putting it in a bag. Like, I mean, seriously, like literally,
Carrying it with you.
you had to drag the battery with you. You had this big old battery, and you had to drag it with you. And really, what it was, the truth was, that thing wasn't even a cell phone. Truth, what it was a two-way radio. What it would do is it would call a tower, and it would open a phone line. And then once the phone line got open, then you could dial, and then it
Mm.
would call, and essentially
Mm.
really was a two-way radio calling a radio tower.
Very similar to what you said with all the people coming out on site. That's the old way of doing things. It's like
That's right.
this going to the cell tower, going back, going this way. No, we're all using, iMessage, we're on WhatsApp. It's instant, call you, so it's very reminiscent of what's going on now. The old is still playing, but we need to get into the new.
They don't want to let go. It's the Uber driver, a taxi driver that doesn't want to become Uber. And it's like,
Mm.
look, let go of the shield, move forward. The technology's there. Now, we got to have a little bit of grace, right? Because you got to remember, us old guys are drinking off a fire hose too, right? And as we move forward with the technology, my judgment is that's what's happening in our industry right now. We're making this massive switch, and it's happening so quickly that a
Mm.
lot of the folks that are my age, they believe, I hear it every day, look, I'm retiring, and they're trying to outrun it to retirement, right? And the problem is it's coming now, right?
Yeah.
This isn't 5 years from now. This is this year, right? In the next 24 months, drawings will be done by artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Those drawings can't be done by hand drawings, right? They can't. You can't take hand measurements and feed a digital model correctly with the hand drawings, right? It just
It has to
the
be done by 3D. It has to be done by
has
a scan, and the scans are only going to get quicker as well. They're going to go from, where you're right now, you have a technician behind a scanner and he moves from spot to spot. That'll be over as well. It'll be either, someone running around and you can get a, 20, 30,000 square foot building as quick as you can walk it, or you're going to have your spot the dog who's going to be in the, running around Boston Dynamics, just hook it on him and off he goes, and you're not even there on site anymore. You're actually at home, looking out onto the beach, and someone else is doing the job for you, and that someone is Spot.
Well, Spot is going crazy. I mean, I've watched him now on multiple different technologies, and he's doing great, right? The scanning technology is absolutely a first run, but not just before we start the project, right? You can scan a building, but now we got Spot the dog with the scanner going on there during the project, right?
Yeah.
So every day it goes around and is scanning the project, right? Are you? It's the same thing happening?
Yeah.
You guys are going through that now, right?
Yeah, but that's where the clash detection, obviously extremely important throughout a project to make sure that what's being built is the same as what was on the drawings, the design drawings of the building, or else you're going to have major issues going on. Say if something is built wrong or built in the wrong place, or things can happen in construction, you don't know. So to have that during as well, even sometimes just having visuals, it mightn't even have to be the biggest and greatest, best ever laser scanner to go around, but just to have a visual and someone say that doesn't look quite right, let's fix this now, and get it nipped in the bud before it turns into a catastrophe.
And it's kind of neat. I've watched a lot of technology come into play now, and as we do that modeling on a daily basis, we're seeing, layers of construction from footings and foundations, exactly where the rebar is, exactly where the footings were dug, you're seeing exact, and you're able to go back to a point cloud. You'll be able to go back to a 3D scan and see exactly where something's at, so that that if I got to retrofit this building, what's really great is you can see a future where that technology stays with that information stays with the building in a
Yeah.
blockchain format that
Hmm.
really has it make the building that much more intelligent,
Hmm.
right? And you can really start to see where
Yeah.
that data that's collected that really transitions for the rest of the world. We now know every ounce of concrete that's poured there, every pound of steel that's embedded there, every pipe, every electrical outlet, to really start to understand the long-term, physical attributes of a building in
Mm.
so much clear detail than ever before.
And all that detail that you're actually talking about, we've been involved with a lot of projects actually that are in the aftercare of a building. So like the construction company, all the architects, they all go, they brush their hands, they get paid, and they go home. What happens with that building now for the next 20 years? Yeah, and what's been happened in the past is that we get it all the time. We go to let's say a renovation project. They don't have any drawings. They don't know where anything is. They don't know they don't understand nothing. So what we're doing is we're doing all that scanning. So you're not only getting it from the start of the project to during the project completion, and then you're doing all of your asset tracking, asset maintenance for that full project throughout its full life cycle until it's going to get another retrofit. But when that retrofit comes again, you would get, like you said, you have every detail of every little piece in that building, which saves massive amount of money when you're coming into a renovation to know what's there, even now. But like in terms of, you know, the costs now that they're coming in, they don't have anything. They don't even have any drawings. Nothing. They don't understand anything going. Everything is reactive. So
That's right.
something breaks. It's like, oh, what is that? What is that asset? Who built it? Who
Right.
who owns it? Who services that for us? So that's where we're at now, which is crazy to think. But all of this technology, all that 3D scanning, all the stuff that we're going on about is actually a core point of the build, not only from kind of preconception of the building, but even aftercare and its future of the building as well. So it really is the foremost of technology in terms of buildings. And it's going to be, like you said, it is there now, and it's going to be there for the next 2 years, or it's going to come in really massively in the next 2 years, with the likes of the machine learning, the AI. People start seeing the lights in their eyes light up, and they go, "Oh wow!"
You know, it's amazing. I just imagine a day when you have a QSR code on a building, and every bit of data about the building is available. Every pipe size, every where it came from, where the equipment came from, what manufacturer, when it was built, what plant it was built in, what's in the actual product itself, the materials are in the product. You know, imagine a future where, as we start to think about a remodel project, everything that we take out of a building gets 100% recycled,
Yeah.
right? Because we know every part about it. As we start to digest a building, we start to look at a program. You know, today, nope, we take a building. Most of the time, architects are like, I don't understand the building well enough. We're ripping it down. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've ripped a building down because they couldn't see or they couldn't understand the cost clear enough to be able to modify what's existing. And they thought it was just cheaper to go right to rebuilding the new building. And you know, ripping it down, dumping all that stuff into a waste facility. And, you know, you look back at that and what's the impact on it? And, you know, by the way, look, we're growing. It's a phenomenal idea. But imagine a future where a QSR code gives us 100% of the data of everything that's in that building. And what we do with it really creates a future that has to be able to build faster, have technology about it. The artificial intelligence that runs that building will be able to understand where to get repair products and how to maintain it. And we get full technology about life cycle of products. These are products that work. These are ones we want to reuse, and we get smarter on the next builds as opposed to keep going back to the same mistakes over and over again.
Well, if the AI actually has all that information that you would have in your 3D models, it would actually be able to tell you what to do.
That's
So
right. That's right.
and we're seeing now, even with all these sensors, that IoT in buildings, a big one, we're seeing all that censored, all the data in terms of temperature, humidity, all that kind of stuff. It'll be able to tell you in real time what to do, what you want to do. You'll type in, you'll say, I want to do a renovation project. We want it this, and it'll spit out to you the drawings, all of the things you'll need, the costs, everything within a few minutes, just like you're getting on your chat GPT now, but it'll be a buildings chat GPT essentially.
I see a future where a brand like a rollout brand across this country says, I want to build 10 new stores, where the AI model goes out and finds the best locations based on thousands and thousands of bits of data about each marketplace, and understands where it goes and understands that marketplace, you know, way better than we've ever known. But at the same exact time, it finds the perfect location. All of those buildings have blockchain technology about the base building information. And as it finds the location, it actually layers in the construction and actually knows a build out cost and timing and scheduling and availability all in the same moment. That same moment you're talking about, finding a location, finding the products availability, the people to build it, the technology information we need, all at the same time, and even the cash requirements on a daily basis. How who we're paying, when we're paying them, and imagine telling that to a bank, and even a predictive index of how the building's going to perform, right? Based on the marketplace, with so much more information than we've ever have. The future of development of cities becomes so much smarter. I mean, do we need 17 of the same brand in a location, right? Do we need that many competitors? Maybe so. Maybe it keeps people, but maybe sometimes you go, hey, if I just switch over to that marketplace over there. By the way, most of what stopped people from finding smarter locations is the availability of the information about the deals and the data. Most are driven by real estate market, what the real estate broker has in their market plan, right? What the real estate has in their portfolio. Rarely is it just driven on pure where I should be. Great data that says this is a better marketplace for you to be in. Your people, we're going to put a restaurant brand in. We've got this household income. We got this this mix of people. By the way, we also have office buildings that'll feed you, hospitals that'll feed you, churches here that'll feed you. What might have been a dozen pieces of data we used in the past will now become tens of thousands of bits of data to do site selection and demographic modeling, maybe even so robust that we humans may not understand it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Just at the last sentence there, because I think at the moment, what we're at the minute is we're at the inception of this AI and machine learning and all the rest of it, and it's like going back to the DOS days when we started creating code. This is where we're at right now. So I don't think we can really imagine what is going to happen over the next 20 years with this technology. So, it's kind of endless. We don't really know. We can only make guesses. And most of our guesses are probably, a bit ignorant, I guess.
That's right.
We only know so much. And, what we think is going to take 2 or 3 years is actually going to take 6 months. Like if you'd have said to me even, 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, that I was going to have this free to use, chat GPT that I could ask any question in the world and it's going to tell me straight away. I can get it to do all this writing, all this SEO work, all this marketing work. I would have said, are you mad? I've never that's dystopian stuff. That's way off. So I think what we're saying is, I think we can only get to a certain point, and then after that we're really just throwing a ball into water. We're just guessing.
That's right. Michael Kiernan, you and your group are doing some great advances. Let's talk a little bit about, so you founded this company. Talk a little bit about how you founded it. Talk me through a little bit of that. I want to kind of get the audience really get to know you and GeoMaus as a brand, and just about your group and the products you have available for them, and how they can bring them into their program, how you can execute across the world for brands.
Sure. Well, it really started. I did a little known course called GeoMatics here in Ireland, which is kind of geodetic engineering, and the simplest way I can put it is capturing the real world and putting it into a digital format. So that's really the foremost of what we do, is we capture the real world and we put it into a digital format. And I went through college or university, I should say, in that. And I started an internship with a company, and it was really outdated. Like you said, your tape measures, your this and that, and the costs were, 20 or 30 times to what I thought they were going to be. So that really captured my imagination there in terms of, okay, there's a big market here that could really use this. I went through a couple iterations of companies starting, not really working out, and then I created GeoMaus about 18 months ago, and it just, something clicked. I created a platform where all of these people that we've been talking about can come into one area, explore a 3D model like that in real time, and with all the relevant data that they need in one place globally. So, all your projects, so you have, like you said, 6,500 projects you could have in one place. You could have only certain people dedicated to, one area, another area, all of them working together. And it just becomes really powerful. And to have that single vendor system where I'm not only providing the software, the physical services on the ground, as well as all of your 3D drawings and 4D drawings as well. On top of that, it really just clicked in and kind of got going quite well after that. I would still say we're I wouldn't say we're still in the starting phases, I guess, which is exciting, getting out there. But it's really been kind of getting a bit of a snowball effect in the last 12 months, certainly.
That's awesome. I think your technology is exciting. You guys continue to be breaking through all kinds of areas and making construction smarter. And for me, that's the game, right? I've watched for most of my career, us build. And by the way, it's frustrating all of us. The business is full of inefficiencies. It's tough for people to make money. It's even tougher nowadays because of constraints and cost. Michael, you and your group are special. Your innovations and your ability to, this platform you've created is one of a kind. I was excited about having you on the show. The work you're doing, I want to make sure people can get to you. So, look, if people want to find you, and what's the best way for them to catch up and have their design team interact with you?
I like LinkedIn. I think it's a great place to shoot a message really quickly and introduce yourself quickly. So Michael Kiernan on LinkedIn is really easy. You can obviously go to the website as well, geomaus.com, as well. But both of those, I think I like LinkedIn the best because I think it's personal. It's straight away. You can get, whatever question you want to get to me, you just say it and we'll sort it out quickly enough. So yeah, I think LinkedIn is the place to go.
Hey, audience members, how many of you guys could just listen to him read the phone book? Right? I love that accent. All right, listen, Michael, I'm grateful for having you on. It was fun when we found you guys, and GeoMaus is up. Audience, make sure you spell mouse correctly. The way it's GeoMaus. Right.
Mm.
So it's a little bit different. And we'll put all the links down below. If you got questions for Michael or myself, as always, put them down there. We want to interact with you. Any thoughts you have about where this can take it, some stuff we didn't talk about, or you have an idea on that, please put that down below and give us your feedback. It means the world to both of us. And I'll make sure that Michael and his team all get a copy of that, and we'll interact back with you guys. As always, if you like the show, please take a second and like and subscribe. Joe and Connor and Van, all the guys in the background that put this show together, work tirelessly to make sure we find great guests and put this out there. If you could just show us your appreciation by hitting that down below, hitting like and subscribe, it means the world to all of us. And as always, audience, we are so grateful for you and for listening today. Thanks.